Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic for reactive form in Angular, where I'll show you one example that will help us to understand how we can utilize FormArray inside the FormGroup registration form example. Okay, so this session the one which I recorded with Hindi, it takes more than 20 minutes, so that's why just to save the time I have already noted down my code and I'll just walk you through the code so that we will cover the required thing without taking much time. Okay, so by the end of this session we will be able to see how actually we can create a registration form where we will use FormArray inside the form group. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to use FormArray inside form group. But prior to that, you should know what is FormArray, what is form group, and other basic stuff. Yeah. Alright, so let's get started. Here you can see, and one more thing, for that you can also refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3,400 plus sessions available in both Hindi as well as English language. So without any language barrier, you can consume the content and you can share your feedback as well in the comments. Alright, so here you can see currently I'm in app.component.html file where I have noted down headings. First heading shows Angular course by Sharmit, and second heading shows reactive form in Angular FormArray inside a form group for registration form example. Okay, now here what I will do, we have these headings. Now similarly, like every session, in a previous session also, we firstly talked about the requirement, then we define the prerequisite. So requirement is very simple. We want to create a form with 3 fields, one for name, one for email, and another one for skills. Okay, now these 3 fields we will use, and here we will make sure that the third field, that is the skills, can allow user to add multiple skills. Okay, that is why we are using the form arrow. Okay, so requirement is clear. Now instead of directly looking at the code, let's firstly declare the prerequisite and then we will see the form code. So for that we will go to app.component.ts file. Here you can see firstly I have imported some important things like reactive forms module, ng-for, ng-if, and JSON pipe. Although I'm not using JSON pipe in this example, so maybe we can remove it for now. Yeah. So we have imported 3 important things: reactive form module, which will allow us to create the reactive form; ng-for, which will allow us to create a for loop; and then we have ng-if, which will allow us to do the conditional check or conditional thing statements. Okay, fine. Now always make sure that when you import it here, it should be here as well, otherwise it won't work. So you can see FormArray, some extra things are also there that one by one I will show you where we imported it, but these 3 things should be there. So reactive form module is there, ng-for is there, ng-if is there. Perfect. Now in the class where we are using app component, we have declared this user form. Okay, then we started the constructor. Inside constructor we have mentioned FB as FormBuilder, so this is a private keyword. Okay, so we have FormBuilder, which we are representing with FB, where F is capital. Always make sure that whenever you are working with TypeScript or Angular, make sure that you are using the same case, otherwise it will throw the error. Now inside this what we are doing, we are checking this dot user form equal this dot FB group, that means form builder group, opening closing parenthesis, then curly braces. Here we have first field as name, where we have mentioned first parameter as blank, and then we have applied the validators dot required. That means this name field should not be empty. Then we have second field, that is email, where we have blank, validators dot required, validators dot email. Okay, so this is the second field where we have mentioned the email and it should be required, and here we are using validators array because multiple conditions are we are checking here, like it should be required and valid email. In the similar way, we have added the third field, but slightly different, because here we are using array. So skills colon this dot fb dot array and blank array. So this is the array where we will add multiple skill, as we will provide a way for user so that he or she can directly add the multiple skill. Now after defining this constructor, we have mentioned this comment, that is getter for FormArray, where we have set get a skills method, which is nothing but to provide the values easily. So here we are returning this dot user form dot get skills as FormArray. Okay. Then we have next thing, that is add new skill method. So if user wants to add new skill, so we will provide one button, and that button will process this particular method, which is nothing but a add skill method. So here we are checking this dot skills dot push, not checking, we are pushing the value to this fb control. So this dot skills dot push this dot fb control, then blank parent blank value validators dot required. So here we will check that it should be mandatory. If it is not, then we will not allow, or we will throw the error. Clear? Similarly, we will add the next method, that is for remove skill. So remove skill will always take a parameter. We know that because this thing we already learned in the theoretical session also. So likewise, you can see for remove skill we are providing one variable, that is index of number, this dot skills dot removeAt, and then this removeAt is a method which also takes a parameter. So this dot skills dot removeAt is index. Okay. Then next we have submit form method. This method will be useful when we want to submit the form. So if this dot user form dot invalid, if it is an invalid, then in that case we will make this dot user form dot mark all as touched, and will return from this method. Clear? So these are the all things that we are supposed to mention here in this app.component.ts file. Also make sure that FormBuilder, validators, NG for NG, these all things should be mandatory, otherwise it won't allow. So if you are facing any issues, just check that whether it is imported or not. Now we will see the app.component.html part, where we have already mentioned two headings, one horizontal row, and actually there are two horizontal row, one at the end. So whatever form we are going to design will be placed inside these two horizontal row. It is not mandatory, but just to show it in a proper way, we are using it. Now you can see we have added the form, where form group is user form. We have attached ng submit method as submit form. This is my first label for the name. Then we have declared the input field for it, where type is text, form control name is name. Later on we have div star ng if user form dot get name invalid, and user form dot get name touch style color as red, and we have mentioned name is required. In the same manner we have label email, where we have mentioned input field as email, form control name is email, div star ng if user form dot get email dot question mark dot invalid, and user form dot get touched. So here we are checking that it should be proper email. If it is not, then in that case, if it is invalid, then in that case we will show message valid email is required. And also we are changing the color to red. Next we have is label for the skills, where we are using the div. So you can see first div for form array name skills, second div star ng let skill of skills let I equal index, input type is form control name, where we are using I, placeholder we have put here. You can also put label if you want, but I am using the placeholder. Then div star ng if skill is, here we are checking if skill is invalid and skill is touched, then in that case we will show color red, or maybe we can put a message also here, skill is required. Okay, I think this is missing. Okay, then we added one button which will help us to remove the skill. So button type is button, click remove skill method. Also we are passing the parameter, So this will call the removeAt method, which we passed inside remove skill method. Okay, you can see parameters there. So it will remove if user press it, and then we have last two button. One is for the add skill, which will simply call the add skill method and add the control, and the submit is to submit the form. Clear? So let's quickly run this application and see how it works. So ng-serve -- open enter. Just wait for a few seconds and then it will show you the output in the browser screen, and from there we will verify the output. So you can see it opens up, and here we have one main heading as Angular codes by Sharmit, reactive form in Angular, form array inside a form group, registration form example, one horizontal row, one label, input field, another label, another input field, one label for skills, and two buttons, one for add skill and one for submit, and then horizontal row. So if I touch it here and keep the cursor outside, it will show name is required. Similarly for the email, but if I put something valid like abc and abc@gmail.com, so it will take the value. It should be dot, not comma. Yeah. In case if you want to add a new skill, you can click here. If I touch this and place my cursor outside, it will show skill is required. Okay, so you can put reading. If you want to add more skills, you can simply click on this add skill button, as many skill you want to add, and if you want to remove, you can simply use this remove skill button. Clear? And then we can submit, although we have not added any message or pop-up for submit, so that's why we are not getting anything. But yeah, it is working fine, because if you clear something and if you try to submit, it will show this message. Clear? So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching Sharmit.